Many of my intermediate and advanced students feel that they still lack confidence when it comes to spoken English, mainly because they don't feel that they speak very fast or very fluently. So today I'm going to give you 8 tips to help you to think in English and stop translating in your head. And this in turn will help you to improve your spoken English speed and fluency, and hopefully your overall confidence when speaking English. And we're starting right now. The first thing you should do is to start naming objects in your environment in your target language, not your native language. So as you go about your day, when you see something, then rather than thinking, a hairbrush, a dog, a bus, an old lady, instead you should think of the word in your target language. If it was Spanish, you might say, cepillo para el pelo, if that's the right word in Spanish. You might even go a step further and have a whole sentence. ¿Dónde está mi cepillo? Where is my hairbrush? By doing this, you will make the vocabulary come second nature without having to think about the translation. Tip number 2. When you're having an English conversation with a native, with a teacher, or with a student, then try to keep the conversation going and don't stop just because you can't think of the word that you want to use. Instead, try to work around the word by finding an alternative word or by finding a way to describe the object that you want to name. And then perhaps your partner can help you to find the right word. This helps you to exercise confidence in your conversation, and it will also help you to bring up more vocabulary as you work around that one missing word. Now, if you don't have a language learning partner who you can practice your English conversations with, then I can highly recommend today's sponsors, italki. italki is an online language learning provider. They provide one-to-one, convenient, effective and affordable language lessons. They offer lessons in English as well as pretty much any language you would want to learn. And they have a huge database of teachers which you can choose from. So it's convenient for what time you're available and which particular teacher you would like to work with. The other great thing about italki is that you can tailor the lessons to suit your individual learning needs. So it might be a good idea for you to ask your teacher to only speak in the target language. And that way you will have to work your way around that vocabulary that you don't know. As I said, these classes are very affordable and there are lessons to suit every budget. But as an added bonus, if you are new to italki, then simply by clicking on the link in the description box below and booking your first class, within 48 hours you will see $10 in credit appear in your italki account. Boom. The next tip is related to what I just said about taking a class and asking your teacher to only speak in the target language. So this tip is to force yourself into situations where you cannot use your native language. It's very easy to drop out of using the target language and just ask a question in your native language. I know because I'm currently learning German and I always drop out to speak English in order to find out how or what I'm supposed to say or what I'm supposed to do in a class. But if you are forced to use only the target language, then you'll be surprised at how effective that can be at accelerating your learning. So if you're taking lessons, ask the teacher to only speak in the target language. If you're practicing with a language buddy, a language partner, then ask them to, for the next half an hour, let's only speak in the target language. Or perhaps get used to speaking to yourself. You might feel a little strange doing this, but actually once you get used to it, it can be another effective way of learning language. By speaking to yourself, you are talking out loud, but then you're also getting used to asking questions and responding all at the same time. Perhaps don't do it when you're near other people though, because they might think you're a little bit crazy. If you do struggle with talking to yourself, then a few ideas would be to narrate what you're doing. So if you are cleaning the house, you might start narrating your activities. Therefore, you'll have to pull on your bank of verbs, cleaning verbs particularly, hoovering, washing, tidying, folding, putting away. Another thing you can do is keep a diary, and at the end of the day, talk out loud as if you were telling somebody what you have done today. Of course, this will really pull on using the past tense, which is excellent. And then once you've said it out loud, perhaps write it down and look at your sentence structure, your grammar, your vocabulary. Perhaps ask someone if they can check it all over for you to see if you've made any mistakes. The next tip is also related to what I've just said, and it's speak out loud often. The way to improve your speaking speed is to practice speaking, practice pronouncing and putting together lots of words. One of the things that really does slow students down is remembering how a word sounds, or trying to remember the correct pronunciation or grammatical order, sentence structure. And so by speaking out loud often, it will help you to become more familiar with how things sound, but also to make your muscles more familiar with rounding and sounding all of those words. So one thing you can do is to read out loud. Take a publication in English, perhaps a newspaper or a magazine, and read it. Go online and find an online article or a blog and read it out loud. By doing this regularly, you're really getting into the habit of speaking. The next tip is to get a dictionary. Now, not an ordinary dictionary which translates from the target language into your native language. We can access these types of dictionaries on our phones and on the computers, but actually they don't really help as much as a learner's dictionary. A learner's dictionary is specifically aimed at helping you to improve your overall knowledge of a language and give you a more simplified and well-rounded understanding of words and phrases. The Learner's Dictionary I recommend for British English is the Cambridge Learner's Dictionary. I will put a link to that one and a few others down in the description box below if you are interested in finding out more. So the next tip is to get involved in an English activity every day. This might be watching a movie, having a conversation, it might be doing a class, but make sure you incorporate something English into your every single day. By doing this, you'll keep it fresh in your mind. And who doesn't enjoy watching an English movie? But that brings me on to my next tip. No subtitles. Once you're at an intermediate or advanced level, you no longer need subtitles, and in fact they're probably holding you back because you will automatically draw your eyes down to the subtitles. You're missing all the body language, missing all the context, and actually you're then just looking at it in your native language and hearing the target language rather than really absorbing the target language and thinking about what's being said. So get rid of the subtitles. If you really struggle without them, at least watch it once without them, see what you can pick up, then go back and put in the subtitles. But I would implore you to try without subtitles from now on. No more subtitles. And last, but by no means least, is to practice common questions and responses. There are certain questions and responses that we say every day a number of times. And if you can get these questions and responses to be automatic, then it's going to help the flow of your conversation and it's going to help your confidence. So for example, hi, how are you? I'm really good, thank you. Or I'm not doing so good. What are you doing? What are you doing later? Oh, I'm busy at the moment. I'm going to work. I'm going to school. How about you? What else could you ask? You could ask, what's your name? How old are you? Ah, I am Anna and I am 21 years old. I am. You could ask, what are you having for dinner? Or what time are you getting home from work? What's your ETA? So go through your day and think about which questions and responses are very common in your day-to-day conversations. Make a note of them, translate them, and then start practicing firing them off. So when you come to have a generic, normal, common conversation with somebody, they'll think, wow, what a confident English speaker you are. So there you go. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any additional advice for students who are struggling to think in English or any target language and are really translating everything in their heads, if you could help them with that, something I haven't mentioned, please do put it in the comments section below and let's share and care about one another. If you're new here, then welcome. Please do click the subscribe button and the bell notification for more English lessons. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumb up and don't forget about that fantastic offer with italki. If you use the link below, you get that $10 credit into your account once you book your first class, and that could be just a trial class, a $1 class, so it's worth taking advantage of that offer. Otherwise, take care and I'll see you in the next class.